Yorkers have been planning for a dreaded subway rehabilitation project that would have meant 15 months of painful detours for the 250,000 daily L train riders, but now it's been scrapped. The dreaded revamp of the L train would have all but stranded people who use the train between Manhattan and Brooklyn, forcing them to find arduous new routes between the arguably busiest boroughs. However, on Thursday, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo abruptly cancelled the plan just 3 months before it was to take effect, saying a team of experts had come up with a way to overhaul a flood-damaged tunnel beneath the East River without closing it or even significantly curtailing service. With this design, it would not be necessary to close the L train tunnel at all, which would be a phenomenal benefit to the people of New York City, Cuomo, a Democrat, said at a news conference announcing the new plan. He was flanked by engineering experts from Columbia and Cornell universities who dreamed up the proposal. The surprise announcement came after years of planning for the upheaval expected to be caused by the tunnel's closure, which was supposed to happen in April. Brooklynites had already begun rearranging their lives for the expected apocalypse, with some changing jobs or apartments to avoid the looming commuting snarls. Share this article. Share. The original plan, adopted by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority after lengthy public debate, had called for a complete shutdown of a portion of the L line for 15 months, while workers repair damage from 2012 Superstorm Sandy, when salty corrosive water flooded 7 miles of the tube. The plan called for replacing old electrical equipment by removing a damaged concrete bench wall that lines the tunnel and encases power cables. The cables would then have been replaced and the wall rebuilt in a labor-intensive process. The new plan calls for installing cables on racks along the inside of the tunnels and leaving the old cables where they are. The old concrete bench wall would stay too, encased in protective fiberglass, where necessary, or patched. Not having to take out and replace the old wall cuts down on cost and time, officials said. And the new plan could be accomplished with night and weekend work instead of a shutdown. This was an outside-the-box, creative solution, Cuomo said. Human nature is to do what you have done that's tried and true. The original design was the best practice. But you have to be willing to think outside the box or break the box. The L line is one of the city's most crowded, running through neighborhoods like Williamsburg and Bushwick that have become major draws for young people and the businesses that cater to them, like restaurants and bars. Since 1990, ridership has vastly increased, with about 400,000 rides on an average day. Of those, more than half go through the tunnel. The agency could have gone with a 3-year partial shutdown, but the MTA decided in mid-2016 that it would be better to close the Canarsie tube completely starting in the spring of 2019. That called for L train service at 5 stops in Manhattan to be halted, as well as trains through the tunnel. The line would continue to operate between Brooklyn neighborhoods. MTA acting chairman Fernando Ferrer called the new plan an innovative and more efficient approach and said the agency, which operates in the city and its suburbs but is controlled by the governor, would adopt it in full.